It's a little bit off topic, so I hope people don't mind, but my question is for Mr. Van Jones. Many people from Occupy Wall Street are saying that it's kind of clear that you're trying to co-opt Occupy for the Democratic regime. I just want to know if it's true, and how do you feel about the new Department of Homeland Security documents clearly showing a coordinated federal effort to disrupt or crush Occupy by the current Democratic administration?
What's your name, sir?
Luke.
Luke, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
So, this is quite off topic, but
I apologize.
I don't need to, but I'll answer your question. I don't think that Occupy Wall Street can or should be co-opted by anybody. In fact, I don't know how anybody could possibly do that. You'd have to go to a General Assembly and give them all lobotomies in order. There's only one force in American politics that cannot be co-opted, and it's Occupy Wall Street. I think it's a good thing. I've never tried to speak for Occupy Wall Street, but I've spoken up for Occupy Wall Street everywhere I can. You've done a tremendous service to the country. Had it not been for your protests, we would have austerity in this country right now like they have in Europe. I don't understand why the rumor is out there, but thank you for raising it. I don't know anything about Homeland Security. I didn't work with Homeland Security when I was in the White House. And let's talk about the rest of that. Don't have to talk.
How about a non-topic question?
Yeah, so our listeners are on Howard. I live in Los Alamos. So what is downtown?
Hey, brother.
Yeah, so maybe co-opting is a bad word, but maybe try to use that energy, because we know you did the Spring '99 and had other events with celebrities, and then you rebranded your website as the Occupy Movement's website, the Rebuild America Dream one.
No.
Yeah.
You want to look at my website right now?
No.
It's not rebranded that way.
Okay.
I'll say, listen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Every time we've talked, it hasn't been a friendly thing.
But hold on, hey man, hey, don't push me away. Hold on, Mr. Jones.
Is that going to change in this interview or not?
Of course it is, and I'm here just to have a dialogue. We could agree to disagree, and we could just have a conversation.
You asked me 3 questions in a row. All of them had a negative assumption, and I didn't get a chance to answer any of them yet.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's.
You see why that might seem like it's not a friendly interview?
Okay, I totally understand that.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm here to listen to you, and I'm here to exchange the dialogue, and this is what it's about, and that's what I think the Occupy movement is about as well.
That's good. So let's do think I'm being rude. I do have to go prepare for my next speech. So let me just try to answer a couple of questions. Occupy Wall Street is the most important thing that's happened in the country, period, in the last decade. Nobody in my situation or position has done anything to do but be huge cheerleaders for it. Frankly, cheerleaders for it in places where it was being put down. In the national media, it was being put down. They would go past people like you. They would go past some, and they would go find people who they knew would make Occupy, have a negative view, and that's always getting shown. I went on national TV and said this is ridiculous. I was one of the first national Democrats to do it, to stick up for Occupy. Why? Because I believe in it. I also believe, and this is a difference between me and Occupy, that just like when the young occupiers in the 60s, they occupied the lunch counters, and they occupied the freedom rides, the segregated buses. But they also helped those poor Mississippians occupy the voting booths. So I believe Occupy has made a principled decision. They want to focus on direct democracy, which I respect, and direct action, which I respect. But I also believe, separate from Occupy, I'm a fan of Occupy, but separate from that, as a citizen, as a dad, as a human being, I also have the right to do the full tradition, which is also helping poor people occupy the voting booth. And I don't call that Occupy. I call that Rebuild the Dream. I call that a bunch of other things. And so what I would just ask for, I keep hearing people inside Occupy say we have to have a diversity of tactics. I don't understand why people who are not inside Occupy, who've never said we're inside Occupy, can't also have a diversity of tactics. So that's my
I understand that. Do you understand why people would be mad when you're using the language of the 99% to also call for the re-election of Obama, and also call for saying that libertarians are racist? To me personally, continuing the war on drugs is one of the most racist policies. Libertarians want to get rid of that, but Barack Obama is continuing that. That's what I wanted to bring up.
And I'm really glad you raised that. I said so-called libertarians, but the way that I said it made it seem like I was saying all libertarians. libertarians, and I've corrected that. And I think if we're going to have a dialogue, when somebody says something and they correct it, then the correction should matter. I do not think that all libertarians are racist. In fact, what I was saying was the so-called libertarians, the people who are actively racist, who then disguise it with libertarian rhetoric, and that needs to be called out. And I was trying to call it out, but I called out in that one speech out of hundreds clumsily, and our mutual enemies jumped on that to try to drive a wedge between us.
And divide and conquer.
And divide and conquer. So let's not let our mutual enemies divide us. I do not feel that way.
Well, so thank you for the clarification. I didn't know you made a clarification, but I'm happy you did.
That's good. Yeah. Many times. But the thing is, like, our enemies are very good at driving a wedge. So number one, to deal with that. Number two, I kind of agree and kind of understand why people would say that we can't use the term 99%, but I also kind of don't. To me, the occupiers earn the right to call themselves occupiers because they occupy. Anybody who jumps up and says, I'm an occupier, I would say, well, did you occupy? Otherwise, you are a co-opter. But when you say 99%, that is a very big group of people. And I would say my family's in that 99%. And so I honestly think, and I put it in my book as well, and I think a lot of people thought, you guys are saying we're the occupiers, we're occupying. If you want to be an occupier, come down here and occupy. But we're standing for the whole 99%. Well, 99% of the people in the country, that's like 300 million people. Well, we aren't going to agree on every tactic. We're not going to agree on every particular thing. And so, but as long as I thought it was about the values. Do you believe in big money out of politics? Yes, I do. Do you believe that Wall Street has gone totally nuts and is ruining the country? Yes, I do. Do you believe that economic inequality is the main problem we have in the country? Yes, I do. Well, then if I believe in those values, I believe I can say, listen, up with the 99%, down with the agenda of the 1%. If you're going to try to, a lot of people in your movement don't even believe in private property, but you're going to, some of them, they want to trademark two numbers, 99. That seems weird to me. Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can't represent the 99%, but be in one political party or not, because it's not the 99%. That's where the issue came out of. And I think we could all agree on to get the money out of politics. Yeah. I think that divides, forget about the left and right. That's what the majority of Americans want, and I think that's what we need. And as long as I think we stand on those values, I think we should be good. We may not agree on everything, but I respect you for talking to me.
Well, I respect you for talking to me as well.
And I respect the dialogue.
That's good.
And I want to shake your hand.
Thank you. I appreciate it.